Okay, so I've seen a lot online in this past couple of days about slut shaming and blaming the victim and all that garbage. Now, that's encouraged me to make this video, and you're free to disagree with me, but I want you to know, first and foremost, that to all the girls that have made videos saying, like, I was raped and people told me it was my fault, I'm not telling you it's your fault. I was raped when I was 16 years old. My boyfriend raped me. It wasn't date rape. It wasn't statutory rape. It was violent, hold you down while you cry rape. And it fucked me up. And I'm going to say that, put that right out there. This is hard to talk about, but I'm almost 21 years old now. It's been almost 5 years. And it hasn't become easier to talk about, but it's something that I realize I have to. The issue of slut shaming. Now, I don't have any video editing software, so stick with me here because I know I'm stuttering, and if I have trouble making words, please just don't judge that. I'm getting really sick of people saying slut shaming is victim blaming. There is a difference between acting like a whore, which even if you act like a whore, you shouldn't get raped. Please don't put those words in my mouth. That's not what I'm saying. There's a difference between acting like a whore and having a girl that was forced to have sex and telling her it's her fault. First and foremost, I'm going to talk about the whorish behavior. If you go to the bar or the club or wherever you go, if you go somewhere and you have a pound of makeup on and you have really revealing, provocative clothes on and you act poorly and you walk around like, oh, I'm so drunk, look at me. Or, oh, look at my, like, if you're like, oh, look at my boobs, oh, look, my pussy's hanging out, haha, that's so funny. I'm not saying you deserve to get raped, but there's a difference between blaming the victim and slut shaming. I don't even call it slut shaming. You're getting called out for acting poorly. If you wanted to go out and be respected and have meaningful conversations with somebody or talk to them, meet people, whatever, you don't go out with your ass hanging out. Now people are going to say, women have a right to wear whatever they want. You do. People also have the right to think whatever the hell they want about you. Because at the end of the day, if I can see your nipples through your shirt, why should I respect you? Why should I respect you for dressing like that? Because you clearly don't respect yourself. I mean, it's no secret. I'm not a feminist. Don't ever call me a feminist. I think it's an insult. But you don't go out exposing your body, disrespecting yourself, and acting like a fool. And that's not okay. Have enough respect and dignity for yourself not to do that. To say, maybe I should put some pants on. Maybe this dress is too short for any occasion. Maybe I'm acting poorly. You need to be enough of an adult to say that and be able to say, I am not acting like somebody that I would respect. Now I get it. It's fun. Let's go out. Let's dance with strangers. I want to feel pretty. I want to feel sexy. I want to feel hot. That's fine. But you can do that without looking like a streetwalker. It's unacceptable. No one respects you for that. That's why people slut shame. This is very different from victim blaming. Victim blaming is she was asking for it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, oh, she's dressed like a slut, she totally deserves that guy to rape her. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, if you go out, maybe you've acted poorly, maybe you've acted slutty. You go out and you get raped. Whether it be somebody put a roofie in your drink and you had no idea, or whether it be somebody forced you, held you down and forced you while you cried and said no. And I want everybody to take a minute and think about that, because that is something that women deal with every day. They're crying, they're saying no, they're struggling, they're begging you to stop, and you don't. That's fucked up. That's more than fucked up. That's pretty much the single worst thing you can do to a woman, to anyone. This is not gender specific. To take that from them is the single most deplorable human act. Victim blaming is me looking at somebody who has been through an ordeal and been like, well, you shouldn't have dressed like that. You shouldn't have acted like a slut. That's unacceptable. And we can't promote that in society. Now, I hear a lot of things about, like, girls saying, we should stop teaching girls not to get raped and we should teach guys not to rape. Yes. Yeah, we should. But there comes in a factor of personal responsibility. You, as a woman or as a man, again, this isn't gender specific, you are aware that today's society is pretty violent. And if you're not aware, you're naive. You're aware that these things happen because even if you don't know anybody personally, you see it on the news, you see it on the internet. Hell, you see it almost glorified in TV shows like Law & Order, Criminal Minds, CSI, whatever. You see this every day. We're bombarded with it. You know this is out there. So you need to be responsible enough not to put yourself in a position where that's going to happen to you. You need to say, I'm going to go home with my friends and not stay at the bar while I am inebriated, dancing on some guy that clearly expects something from me. Girls, I'm sorry, and I'm going to get flamed for this. I can feel the hate mail coming to me already. He doesn't want you. He doesn't love you. He doesn't respect you. He's only looking at your body. And this is not a feminist rant of men only want one thing. No, this is, if you're dressed where I can see everything, where there's nothing to the imagination. If you are dressed like this and you go to a bar and this guy, he's got his hands on your hips and he's dancing on you and he's buying you drinks and he's kissing on you, he wants sex. Let's be very clear about this. Let's not glorify and romanticize this. He doesn't want to love you. He wants to have sex with you. You need to recognize this and say, this is not safe for me to be here alone if I don't want to have sex with him. I want everyone to take into account, I'm not saying that gives him the right to take what he wants from you. That's the farthest thing from what I'm saying. I am a large advocate for helping rape victims. This isn't a joke to me. This is my life. You need to say, this isn't safe. I shouldn't stay. I shouldn't do this. I need to go with my friends. I need to do whatever I'm doing to keep myself safe. That is a completely separate entity. Let's put that over here. That's one thing. That's half of the solution. Yeah, we need to start a society that teaches guys not to rape. And I gotta tell you, I don't know many guys that I don't know any guys that think rape is funny, that think rape is okay. Society has done that job and needs to continue doing that job. That is the other half of the solution. Teach guys not to rape. We're going to put that over here. But the problem is not normal men or normal women. I honestly, I don't know what the laws have changed to. This is not normal human beings. Normal people, normal, stable, human people don't rape. It is the dangerous, depraved individuals that do this. And don't try to tell me otherwise, that someone that is capable of raping you isn't a bad person, or they didn't mean it. It's a conscious thing. You know, this girl's too drunk. She's gonna regret this. She's too drunk. I shouldn't be doing this. I respect myself more than this. Or, I put drugs in her drink. This, nobody thinks you're willing. Or, she's crying and saying no. Hello. No human being that rapes another woman, not even another woman, another human being, no one thinks that they are doing something consensually. No normal human. What we need to be afraid of is those fucked up people that think it's okay, that think they're entitled to it, and that are going to take what they want from you. That is what there is to fear. And that is the problem with victim blaming. That these women were through an ordeal and were blamed when the person that did this to them is not a normal, acceptable human being. You don't victim blame. You don't say, well, she was a whore, so she deserved it. You don't do that. Because let me tell you my story. I was 16 years old, and my boyfriend was 20. I hid it from my parents because I thought they wouldn't let me be with him. And then when the shit hit the fan and it came out, I think they realized that either they were gonna let me do this in a controlled setting, where they were there to supervise me and make sure nothing happened to me, or I was gonna do it myself. Because I'd hidden it for that long anyway. This man deceived us, me, everyone. I thought he loved me. He told me he loved me. And he was a perfect Prince Charming. And then he started hitting me. And I was prideful. I was afraid that if I told my parents, they would be angry and they would punish me. And then it got worse. And he started hitting me regularly. It wasn't just a one-time thing. And I was scared. And he told me if I left him, then he would hurt me. And I was afraid that he would kill me. And then he decided he wanted sex, and I said no. And he slammed me against a wall and took what he wanted from me. This man not only physically abused me, he emotionally and mentally terrorized me. He would show up at my house, he would stake out my house, all at just whatever hours. I never knew. Is he going to be in a friend's car? Is he going to be in his car? Is he waiting here? Is he waiting? What's going on? Is he going to be at my house when I get home? That was my experience. And I did leave him. And I left him. I called him and I said, we're done. And I made sure I did it when my family was out of town, because I couldn't handle if he came to my house and hurt anyone. I was afraid that I would be punished for this. And I had people blame me. Some people that I reached out for said it was my fault for getting into a relationship with an older man and not knowing what I was in for. That's victim blaming. That's taking someone who was helpless and blaming them. But now this video is 15 minutes long, and I'm probably going to have to cut some stuff out and figure out how to do that, or maybe just upload it, whatever. Victim blaming is not slut shaming. Slut shaming is not victim blaming. If they cross over, that's a problem. But we need to stop. I don't want to say stop empowering women, but we can't encourage women to, oh, I can dress however I want. I can do whatever I want, and I have no consequences. Yeah, you shouldn't be raped. And if you are, you have my full support. You should have everyone's. But when you're going out acting like a whore, and and then you're upset the next day because someone called you a slut, or because somebody said you were acting like a slut, or because someone made fun of you, how did you not see this coming? You don't respect yourself, so how can anyone else respect you? That's slut shaming. Stop saying that calling a woman a slut means you're blaming her for getting raped. That's not what it is. That's not how it happens. If you act like a slut, people are going to call you a slut. Welcome to the world. This is what happens here. Respect yourself enough to dress like a normal person. To say, I'm not going to walk out with my headlights blaring and my cooch hanging out. Have some respect for yourself, and then people will respect you. We're not going to waste our time respecting people that don't respect themselves. Slut shaming is not victim blaming. Slut shaming doesn't lead to victim blaming. Stop saying it does. It cheapens the ordeal of rape. All of this bullshit feminism, girls on Tumblr screaming about, oh, well, women this and women that and feminism. You're a joke. You cheapen the ordeal of rape for women like me and women who have genuinely been through hell. Oh, you're so oppressed because you wore slutty clothes and someone called you a slut, and that demeans you as a woman. You know what's demeaning you as a woman? Acting the way that you do. I wanted to make this video to just prove, not necessarily prove anything, just to put this out there. I can't be the only one that thinks like this. Have some personal responsibility for yourself. If you want to dress like a slut, own the consequences that somebody's going to call you a slut. That doesn't mean you're going to get raped, and that doesn't mean you should get raped. But you need to own up to that. I'm sick and tired of people saying, I can dress however I want. Nobody has any right to stage their opinion on me. It's unacceptable. Be responsible or go home. That's all I have to say.